You may want to change yourself and free yourself from an unpleasant trait. But if you focus on it too much, you'll find it difficult to move away from it. It reinforces. There was a boy in Tibet. One fine morning, soon as he came out of his house, he saw an unusual bird flying majestically in the sky. But as he looked more closely, he realized it was a man flying like a bird. So he kept searching and searching, and he kept scanning that man's descent. And he zoomed on. Oh yes, he is descending in this particular village. He goes to that village, identifies the house where he hails from, the elderly person. But the elderly person refuses to say that I was the one who was flying. Nevertheless, he had the hunch. He looked at him again and again and begged him, please teach me how to fly. So with his insistence, the elderly man was quite pleased. He says, all right, let's begin. It will take you about 10 to 14 years to learn all these things. As the years passed by, the boy dutifully served his teacher until one fateful day, on the full moon night, the teacher imparted to him the knowledge of how to fly like a bird. He asked the boy to put this knowledge into action by meditating at midnight, when the full moon is right above his head. Then he added one caveat. The only rule for this technique to work is that you are not allowed to think about monkeys during that meditation. Overjoyed with that knowledge, boy left for home. As he walked, he thought to himself, why would I think of monkeys? I have never seen one in my life. I will not think about monkeys. And in this way, his train of thoughts continued. Later that night, when the boy sat in for meditation, all his focus and thoughts were on how not to think on monkeys. So the moment came and went, an opportunity was lost. Trying to avoid thinking or doing something is always counterproductive. You may want to change yourself and free yourself from an unpleasant trait. But if you focus on it too much, you'll find it difficult to move away from it. It reinforces. It's like trying not to think of monkeys. They just keep on coming in your mind. A better way is to focus on the positive, because that which receives your attention becomes empowered. It gains momentum from your attention that is in your hands. Meaning of freedom, and should other persons be involved in making choices for us? Only freedom we have, according to my Guruji, is the freedom to do what is right. That's the only freedom we have. Even God cannot give you the freedom to do wrong things, though He is God. And God cannot prevent you from doing what is right. All these questions come to our mind because of the conflict we have, differences of opinions we have with the people whom we are consulting for making the decision. If you are asking a question or you're consulting someone in a bus or a train, their opinion may not matter much. But when you ask your mother, when you ask your father, then their opinions matter a lot, because then you want to make them happy as well. You love someone, for example, and father or mother finds out that he belongs or she belongs to a different caste, or that person doesn't have the same social status as yours. Many problems can arise, but for you love that person. In your heart of hearts, you have decided to marry this person. Now, these are the difficult situations. Whom to make happy? Some families go to the extent of, beta, if you do this, please do not return home. Consider us, your parents, as dead. They blackmail you like that as well. So many questions. I don't think one can answer with yes or no. We have to weigh each situation and see under what situation. But if you make such a strong decision as far as marriage is concerned, go with your own feelings of your heart that yes, I have to marry this person, and you marry that person. If you don't, then imagine the consequences. You will not be happy. The person who marries you also you will not be able to make the other person happy. Person who did not marry you, could not marry you, also is unhappy. And whosoever that person marries is also unhappy. So there is a huge chain reaction of unhappiness. It is better that two persons remain unhappy, your parents. They have decided already that whatsoever you choose will be wrong. But they may be right also. We don't know, as I was saying. Each situation is different. They understand your idiosyncrasies so well. They have changed your diapers. They have changed you from the moment you were born every single day. They know your laughter. They know your smiles. They know everything that you need. So listen to them also very carefully. And then make a decision. I started first pharmacy in 1984 in Brooklyn, New York. And we used to have a lot of interns who would practice in the pharmacy right after graduation. It was mandatory that interns complete 2,000 hours within a year if they want to get a license to practice. So they used to come to our pharmacy, and often you would see them working slowly, complaining all the time, getting tired too fast, taking longer hours, coming late, going early, skipping days, calling sick. All these things used to happen while they were doing their internship. But as we become familiar towards each other, and when I offer them a permanent job, once they get their license, even while working on a permanent basis, practicing as a pharmacist, this trend would continue. So much of work is there. I am filling so many prescriptions. I am doing so much of work, billing, calling insurance, calling doctors, and this complaint would continue. But the day I offer them the ownership of the pharmacy, I make them the partners, their attitude changes all of a sudden. They come early to work, they smile a lot, they don't take long breaks, they go late home. You understand what I'm trying to say? What is in it for me? When you do understand what is in it for me, and when you have a sense of belonging to an institution, all your stress will go away. When you think this is mine, ownership is there. You see the difference between the mother looking after her own child and looking after somebody else's child. There's a big difference. Whether I'm working for someone or I'm running someone else's business, whenever the sense of I'm working for someone and somebody else is benefiting from it, you are shortchanging yourself. You will apply less force, less energy, less enthusiasm in your work. But when we elevate our consciousness and say, whatsoever I do, I must do it perfectly as best as I can with a lot of joy. And if you have grudge, if you have tension, if you have stress and you continue working, what becomes of your health? Instead, when you work joyfully, see what happens. While eating also, When you have a fight with your wife or someone and you're eating, what happens to your mood and your digestion? But when you do eat joyfully, relishing it, happily eating because my wife has cooked for me, she worked hard for it, then you'll smile and your health will also improve. Your emotional health will also skyrocket. Your relationship will also improve. I give another example from my standpoint as an owner of a business. Whenever we have employees, we have full-timers, we have part-timers, we have extra-timers. Whom do you like the most? Not the person who is working double hours or triple hours, but the person who works with a lot of joy, who keeps smiling, who is happy working. You can trust such people. They don't give you stress. They are happy themselves. They radiate joy. In fact, when you are yourself tired and such employees meet you, you feel happy. And when such an employee asks, "Sir, can I have vacation for 2 weeks?" Immediately you say, "Why 2 weeks? Go for a month, enjoy it." Because you are happy in your heart to have such people who are working as a family. Imagine your working hours, 8 to 10 hours you are spending in work environment. 8 hours you sleep, 4 hours you waste in travel. How much time do you have for your children and your spouse? And whatever time you have with your children and spouse, what do you do during that time? You may be sitting with them, but with your phones on, you're watching TV, or children are doing something in their own privacy. Where is the family life? But instead, when everyone wakes up together, meditates together, even if you sit together for 15 minutes, and all family members sit for meditation together, even for 15 minutes, that will unite you in a very, very special way. Similarly, in the evening, do your prayers, offer your prayers, or you meditate once again in the evening together, and see the kind of atmosphere it can create. So that short time we have with family members, it can be a quality time. But what about the longest time we spend? 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 to 14 hours in office. We spend more time with our colleagues than our family. Should we not make our life livelier, more productive, more joyful in work environment? Instead of hating the work and postponing everything that comes across your way,